Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Of course, by now you guys have probably seen that the Season 2 update for MW2, Warzone 2, and DMZ has had the majority of the gameplay details revealed. Yesterday, Call of Duty released a huge blog that we went over in a video, so if you guys haven't caught that yet, feel free to go and check that one out. But they revealed a ton of information about what's changing in Season 2, and sort of a common pattern that I realized is that throughout the blog, and then also via the Trello boards that we have for MW2, and then also for Warzone 2 and DMZ, is that we have a lot of very significant nerfs happening in all sorts of different areas of each mode, which is particularly interesting. So today I wanted to focus specifically on these large scale nerfs that are going to be happening with the seasonal updates. So we're starting first in Warzone with a very important one that we talked about a few days back, and that is a nerf coming to the Birdseye perk. Now, perks are going to be changing in general in Season 2, but on the Infinity Ward Trello right now, underneath the Battle Royale known issues, they have a specific card that says they are aware of an issue where the Birdseye perk does not function as intended within Battle Royale. Now, as it stands in Battle Royale gameplay, Birdseye is the most powerful thing you can have on a setup. Doesn't matter if you're using an RPK, doesn't matter if you're using a Fennec, if you have the best aim imaginable, Birdseye is the most game-changing thing when it comes to gameplay information, because not only are you able to see the minimap with all of your UAVs and with all of your stronghold pings, but anytime an enemy team takes hold of a stronghold, if you're in that general vicinity where that stronghold ping would normally be, you're gonna get that enemy stronghold ping. And more importantly, anytime an enemy team calls in a UAV, you also get the pings of that UAV. So in most cases, the second you get Birdseye out of your loadout drop or out of a stronghold, it means you have an almost constant UAV throughout the entire match, up until, of course, like the super late game situations where nobody has that buy station available, or perhaps all the buys left in zone have already had a UAV purchased from them. So Birdseye is ridiculously strong, but it's not intended to work like that. So they are going to be nerfing it. They are going to be changing its overall functions, and it's going to be nerfed to a state where it's not nearly as powerful. And frankly, I think once they do end up nerfing Birdseye, it's probably not going to be a perk that many players use. I imagine they'll probably just nerf it so that you can see the full-on directional pings of which way a player is facing rather than just their elevation, which is the normal minimap. But honestly, I feel like that information is not always better to have. I like knowing the elevation of enemies because I know exactly where to look if I'm approaching a building or if I'm approaching a certain area that has, multiple places that are of different elevation, and there's verticality involved there. So Birdseye is the first major nerf coming in Season 2, it seems. Another pretty specific Battle Royale issue here, though, that is also going to be addressed in Season 2 most likely, is the Heavy Chopper. This has been disabled in Warzone gameplay since Season 1 Reloaded back on December 16th, so we haven't had the Heavy Chopper available in-game for quite some time now, and that's because it was super powerful, especially in solos. Now, in duos and trios and quads, if you were coordinating with your team and actively trying to take out a Heavy Chopper, then it wasn't anything crazy, but the health of what the Heavy Chopper allows made it so that in solos late game you could just sit in that and patrol and really not have to worry about ever getting taken out or ever receiving enough damage that you'd have to abandon ship, if you will. And it was just a super big crutch. Now, like I said, it was especially good in solos, but it's been disabled in all modes for quite some time. So the actual Trello card note here says the Heavy Chopper has been disabled in Battle Royale while we investigate options to balance this vehicle for late game. So essentially it's going to be nerfed in some capacity that makes it easier to combat if you run into it late game. Like, yes, there will still be a partial reward for strategizing and making sure you have a healthy chopper late game so that it is some kind of an advantage and there is a reward and a payoff for that, but it's not going to be something that is overwhelming to every other team in the game that's like basically solidifying a win for you without doing any major work and taking out enemy squads. It's clearly too much of a crutch, especially for late game and especially for solos, so that's going to end up getting nerfed here as well in Season 2 most likely, which will be pretty curious to see how exactly that ends up playing out. Also, as we are going through all these updates that are coming here soon, just a reminder, if you are new to the channel, every single day, I got you covered with all the latest intel and news you need for MW2, Warzone 2, and DMZ. So anytime we see patch notes, any new updates go out, I always got you guys covered. So if you want to stay up to date with that stuff, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications. Also, if you guys enjoy this video, let me know by dropping a like on it as well. Would be seriously appreciated. It does really help the channel grow. Let's try and aim for 2,000 likes on this one. This next nerf is going to be coming to supply crates because currently they have a fix planned for a future update that is going to basically fix a bug or an exploit, if you will, that allows you to duplicate supply drop loot. They're aware of a bug allowing more than one player to actually loot a captured supply drop crate. So more than one person can end up cheesing the loot out of a supply drop, and you can sort of coincide with your teammates and plan that accordingly to duplicate the loot and make it way more worth your while than just one initial supply crate. So they're technically kind of nerfing the ability to do that, even though it's being done through a bug fix rather than, like, you know, changing the damage values of something like we'd oftentimes see with a nerf, right? Another thing they're going to be nerfing is the deployable cover, because currently in multiplayer, you can use the deployable cover to get to various out of bounds areas. Again, this is a nerf that's sort of happening because of bug fixes here, but currently you can cheese the deployable covers on certain maps and get to certain sight lines and certain angles that you shouldn't be able to. So they're going to end up fixing that so you can't mount on top of it or jump on top of it in certain spots on multiplayer specifically for that one. A new one that was actually just revealed with the whole season 2 preview blog actually is a nerf to inventory space here, at least in Warzone that we know of right now, because they're actually going to be completely taking out the medium and large backpacks from Warzone gameplay. So that means everyone is going to have the same inventory space. I think the standard backpack is just 5 slots. So you're going to have that nerfed inventory size now where you can't always carry that third weapon. You can't always carry 4 airstrikes and 2 self-revives and 9 plates as well, right? So you're gonna have to strategize a lot more now in Warzone 2 when it comes to what you want to have in your inventory. If that extra ammo really means a ton, or if having 2 streaks instead of 1 really means a ton, or 2 self-revives instead of 1. So it's going to be interesting to see what the new sort of meta is like now, because like as it stands right now, when we have the large backpacks, it's like hoard all the streaks and all the self-revives that you possibly can, because late game you can just spam them, right? And then moving on to our final thing here, the final major series of nerfs coming in season 2 is weapon tuning, weapon changes. We know for a fact now that several main weapons are going to be receiving nerfs in the season 2 update. Infinity Ward and Raven confirmed in their preview blog as well that multiplayer and Warzone are going to be getting some individual weapon adjustments and weapon tuning passes made with this patch, which most likely means that those most popular and most dominant weapons in Warzone specifically right now are going to see some pretty severe nerfs. I'm looking at the RPK, I'm looking at the Fennec, and I'm looking at the Akimbo P890s and the Akimbo X13s. Those seem to be the most dominant and the most widely chosen weapons as it stands now. There are a lot of other very close weapons. The RAL, the 7.62, the TAC V. There's some other good choices for sure, but those 4 in particular I think stand out the most in terms of Warzone gameplay. Multiplayer weapon balancing is a whole different ballpark because a lot of it does revolve around the CDL and what's going on there. And you know, multiplayer obviously is a lot more diverse as well when it comes to the meta because the TTK is a bit faster. But we know for sure some nerfs are going to be coming to a plethora of weapons across multiplayer and Warzone and DMZ in season 2 as well. So I, for one, am very much so looking forward to the patch notes on these updates because I feel like we're going to see a lot of surprise changes, and obviously a lot of these nerfs are justified with some certain broken mechanics here and there. But that being said, that's what to expect in the way of nerfs for season 2 as of right now, and that's going to wrap things up for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you guys are new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications so you can always guarantee you're up to date with everything going on in the world of Call of Duty. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to check out any of my partners, feel free to use code IMMORTAL on all Scuff, G Fuel, Gamer Advantage, and Control Freak products, and the links for all those can be found in the description below. But until next time, guys, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.